for summer. They can bring it back, but Dagda, we're already into Champ Select. It's JDG on the blue side, EDG on the red side, Gwen, Lucian being banned away, Senna being banned as well as Brawl.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Senna gone. Like, Viper has looked pretty damn good on that thus far. 100% win rate on it, and it's been paired with that Tam Kench from Mako, which has a 13 KDA at the moment. So definitely a strong pick for the EDG bot lane. We're going to have to see as the rest of this goes on what the game plan is going to be.
Yeah, I am curious how the two teams are going to approach this one, because it feels like different teams in the LPL have had vastly different approaches to drafting and to what champions are important in the current meta. Talia taken off, very flexible pick, can be jungle, can be mid. Generally, it's been mid so far in the LPL, but I'm excited to see a little bit of jungle. And, you know, players like Kanavi, players like JJ, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them go for something like that.
Yeah, my big one looking here, though, is if you don't ban the Wukong, that's going to be grabbed instantly by JDG. Yeah, they are going to ban it away. I think Kanavi's been so insane in this pick. We actually saw him in his last series, like, invading on the Wukong early to get these early 1v1 kills on the opposition. But he's going to move his way back over towards the vehicle, who's kind of come out as, like, the big pick in this meta at the moment for the jungle, but it's usually answered by something like the Lee Sin, which I wouldn't be surprised to see Flandre pick up here, and probably pair with the Kalista. Maybe they want to grab the Renata early as well here for EDG, and then go into the Lee Sin afterwards.
Yeah, we'll see what the second pickup here is. This will be the first game of Kalista for Viper of this year, so we'll be excited to see how he performs. But, you know, this is Viper we're talking about. I am very confident this guy's a great Kalista already. But it will be the Lee Sin, in fact. And JJ, so far, 3 games on Lee Sin, 100% win rate, 15.5 KDA so far this split on Lee.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see JJ kind of going back towards these picks. It felt like things like the Hecarim and that, when he saw them in spring, didn't really suit his playstyle. So you see him kind of going back towards these early skirmishers where he can play that bruiser style. I think is going to fit him a lot better. But looking across the JDG, looks like we're going to see Hope just go back towards the Ezreal, kind of opt out of this laning phase a little bit. And just because of how potent that Kalista is, oftentimes you just kind of see people, like when the Lucian's taken off the board and that, you just don't really have an answer to match toe-to-toe in the lane against the Kalista. So Ezreal starts to rise up as a, hey, I'm just going to farm up and play for the mid-game instead.
Yeah, it's a good answer to the Kalista, but it's also like Hope's go-to by a country mile this year. 5 games on Ezreal so far. This is only his 7th game. So this will be his 6th game on Ezreal out of 7 games. It is going to be Yagao going with the Ahri. So now, Dagda, what kind of support are we expecting? Is it the Renata? Or we see like a Nautilus maybe from the Mako?
I'm wondering if they just go towards the LeBlanc for Scout here, like try and get the good matchup in the mid lane, especially since you got JJ there. Maybe you just want to take the counter pick and try and play towards it. I mean, the Veigar here, the other answer, because you kind of want to make sure that Yagao isn't getting this free matchup on the Ahri. And it's going to be the Lissandra coming through. So yeah, going for the counter pick here. And I like this because I think Yagao has been one of the few people we've actually seen still going towards the Ahri pick. I still personally think it's quite strong in the patch. I think you can do a lot of with like having that ability to push, still roam relatively well, and even like looking for picks in team fights and just being a nuisance for the backline in team fights and mid-game opportunities is just such a nuisance for the enemy to deal with. The Lissandra, though, can push relatively well against her, can lock her up, which is where now Yagao is going to have to play a lot safer in these fights.
All right, well, Alistair taken off of the board now as EDG start to focus on those supports. But neither team picking up a support in this first round means that if both go for the support balance, we could get a pretty interesting bottom lane, because Brom's already taken off the board. The Alistair is gone. If we get things like the Nautilus being taken off, we'll go full Enchanters, basically. But it will be Flandre targeted here with a Vladimir back.
Yeah, I feel like if we end up going for the full Enchanters, it kind of favors EDG, right? Because we talked about the Renata, like such an insanely strong pick with the Kalista, because Kalista then gets the W on top of her. Gets to just keep going forward. She gets to stack up more Ren stacks, and then almost inevitably she'll end up restacking off of someone and getting her keeping herself alive off the W from Renata. So we'll have to see. Yeah, going to be the Alistair and the Leona band away. Just things that basically can do well when Braum is taken off the board. So I do like this. And also I think just from Missing's perspective as well, he's done best where he's able to have these more engage oriented champions that can link up with Kanavi in the mid game. So trying to remove some of them is going to be great. But I think if we end up with the Renata here for EDG, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Yumi come in for Missing instead. And then you've still got the same kind of thing where it's like, oh, well, an Enchanter that provides engage can just sit on top of Kanavi if he wants to and like set up well.
This has been banned so much this split. The Karma Ezreal. you think of Ezreal as a really weak lane, but alongside Karma, you have so much poke in that bottom lane. I'm excited to see this 2v2 from Hope and Missing down at the bottom side. It'll be the first time that they're bringing this duo to the Rift, and we'll see how they're going to be able to pull it off. But a Gangplank being hovered here for the top lane here for 369, that would be blind.
Yeah, I think you need something here as JDG to try and create space for your team, right? Because you're looking at like, okay, we've got an Ezreal and a Karma who kind of want to play at range and poke. Ahri can kind of work well if she's trying to use her range, especially against how short range EDG are. And I think at the moment you could either go, all right, we're going to go for Sion and try and match the all-in potential of EDG, or go for the Gangplank and try and play this kite back style. And it looks like that's the plan here for JDG, is like try and create distance with the Gangplank ult and then use all the poke that's in their kit to go against that.
Yeah. And Flandre is going to go for the one pick that everyone in the world knows him for. Everyone at Worlds certainly got to see Flandre's Graves plenty of times. Definitely not one that he's shy on. But here we have our two compositions. Like you say, JDG, it's a matter of playing at range. It's a matter of kiting back. Whereas EDG, I'd say it's pretty much the opposite, right? They want to go in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is exactly what they're going to be trying to utilize, especially at neutrals, right? Having Scout come in from different angles, having Mako being able to be flung in by Viper, like have JJ try to look for these kicks. And the thing is as well, like once you can isolate one or two targets, because you've got the hostile takeover coming in from Mako, it's very easy to toss that over the team and make sure that you're able to pick off one or two people, not actually end up falling down to JDG. And kind of making sure. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I was looking.
Unbelievable. Is it not summer anymore, Rob? Is it not?
But yeah, make sure that you got the pick potential that you want to then move over towards these neutral objectives.
Yeah, we'll have to see. The neutral objective's going to be the name of the game here. And to be honest, I feel like EDG have done a good job drafting themselves some advantages in these laning phases. I mean, the bottom lane especially. I'm not especially sure how Karma Ezreal versus Kalista Renata pans out. I feel like there's an extent to which that could be a skill matchup. How much of the poke lands, right? How many opportunities for an all-in does the Kalista get for herself? So we'll have to wait and see. Certainly early, I can imagine that Karma Ezreal might actually get priority in that bottom lane.
Yeah, you definitely should get priority just because you've got the Karma's Q is on such a shorter cooldown than the Renata's E. And you've kind of got the ability to just continuously shove it like the ultimate and stuff. So definitely think level 1, level 2, they should have that push. The real question is like, how much poke, as you say, can you land? Because if you don't end up having that opportunity, there's always the chance to set up for dives, especially with JJ on something like the Lee Sin.
We'll have to wait and see. We're on to some of this Rift Dagda for game number 1 between JDG and EDG. And this is such an exciting series for me. You can take a look at the AD carries. Their stats are on the screen. It's Viper versus Hope. Hope against his old team and against the player that replaced him on that team. And when you look at them statistically, you know, Viper leading the charts when it comes to his damage per minute. He's up there with KDA as well. But when it comes to the jungle proximity, it's actually Hope that's getting more attention from his jungler and yet still has worse stats.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a case of like Hope has oftentimes got these this pressure down towards him in the bottom side of the map to help unlock Missing from the lane. Because as we said, like when JDG are trying to get the ball rolling in the early stages, about getting these ganks off and then using Missing and Kanavi to start getting deep vision in the enemy jungle. So after that, Hope is kind of left on his own to start to farm up. Whereas when you look at Viper and Mako, they are very much trying to find these aggressive trades in the 2v2, which is why we're seeing such a high damage per minute. And even then when you look at like the way that EDG like to operate in the mid game, it's much more about, hey, we're going to start trading heavily in the mid lane, then look to move in towards the dragon and getting ourselves set up for these objectives. So Viper tends to be in the forefront a lot.
Yeah, definitely true. And like you say, the dragon, that's going to be one of the crucial things for both of these teams based on what we've seen so far this split. But one of the other interesting dichotomies of these two teams is that actually they have a similar way of finding advantages, right? They both rely on finding advantages through the lanes, winning early skirmishes, and then snowballing. And it feels like we could end up in a situation where if they're both reliant on that exact same style, We could end up with fairly one-sided games as Kanavi wants to start things strong for the bottom lane. He wants to shut Viper down. Mako trying to escape the slow will land from missing. A chain there as well. Kanavi wasn't sure if he wanted to commit to this one. And the rest of the team moving away. The stun comes in onto Mako, but I don't think they've got the damage. Hope goes forward, though. Yes, they do have the damage. I eat my words, and EDG eat the dust. In comes JJ to try and answer. Finds one, and it's actually an even trade.
I mean, both AD carries go down, but it is going to be the kill going over towards Hope. You'll have the push coming through here from Kanavi in the bottom side of the map as well to make sure that this wave does crash. So all said and done, a slight advantage for JDG's bot lane, but JJ will have the advantage in that jungle matchup as Flandre taken very low in the top side.
Hey, he's not having a fun time in this lane for now. As Gangplank, the early game did get buffed up fairly recently for him. That passive got a big old stack on it. So Flandre needs to leave because 369 is the kind of player that will flash for a kill like that. So I think Flandre going to go for the reset here, and rightly so, as Kanavi moves into this mid lane just to make sure Yagao can get a reset off himself. But Missing's here too, and Scout forced to flash. Root will land. I don't know if they've got enough follow-up, but with the charm coming on through, with the damage out from the whole squad, Missing finds the kill.
And this is what we're talking about, Missing and Kanavi linking up together to make plays happen, but the 2v2 boss.
Oh, Hope has to eat away. I think he's got out with that one. Mako can't quite find the handshake, so he's safe.
Yeah, I mean, just nice play in the early stages from JDG, right? Getting the play in the bot side from Kanavi, that means that after they get the push in, but you get Missing able to roam with them towards the mid lane, and you'll see it here, right? As we get this play in the bot side, Kanavi kind of looks like he backs away here into Fog of War, so EDG think they're safe, but Missing again just about gets the tether. They get the stun onto Mako, and Mako unfortunately just flashes that little bit too late, so Hope is able to follow and get the damage that he needs down. Viper as well, very close to go down. Hope just barely misses the Mystic shot here, so doesn't get the double kill, but JJ at least able to respond.
Nicely done here, and it means that we're actually still in a very even game, but we're in an exciting game. But look at the difference between the AD carries right now. Sure, Hope got himself a kill. There is a 20 CS lead for Viper. They want to try and deny some of this that's underneath the tower right now. A handshake will do something, but Hope looks like he's able to sweep up most of this. There's EDG desperate to hold on to their lead, but a route onto Mako. No summoners in this bottom side. Kanavi's here once again. Mako gonna go down for the second time this game already.
Yeah, I mean, just nice job here from JDG to get that, even giving the kill over to Hope as well. And I think that's much needed because, as you said, like, massive CS advantage over towards Viper, because even though you did get the crash from JDG in on the bottom side for that big wave, Viper managed to get there and pick up the wave. So being able to answer that back slightly with the kills for Hope means that he's got a little bit of a buffer there for what is the CS differential in that bot lane.
I mean, at this point with 2 kills, it's probably more than a buffer. I'd imagine he's got a lead, which is important on Ezreal as well. Because remember, when you're buying a tier early in the lane, you're generally pretty weak. Because Yagao has to cleanse, has to flash, he'll survive. And now Kanavi moving on in, but Scout is 6. I don't think that's a fight they want to take, and yeah, they're going to back away.
Yeah, and I like the way we're kind of seeing the difference in the 2 jungles here at the moment. Because you're looking at, like, Kanavi, right, who, if you look at a CS lead, has given up his CS to make sure that his lanes are, especially that bot lane, is going to be going okay. Whereas when you look at JJ, he's been trying to find these moments where he can continue to clear and get up towards the level 6 mark. But realistically, I think this is where we have to see JJ actually start to have a bigger impact. Because you are on the Lee Sin, Diego is going to outscale you. And right now, Kanavi, he's even going topside as well.
Kanavi just will not stop. This time it's Flandre on the cards. Flash available for Flandre. A cannon barrage to start it off. Flash, ult, both used. Flandre low on HP, and there's the Blade of the Rune King from Kanavi to finish him off. Kanavi is in charge of this game.
Yeah, it's such a well-orchestrated gank as well. Like, 369 getting that ultimate down sets up so nicely for Kanavi to actually get the kill. And now you've got 4 kills already that Kanavi has orchestrated across the board. And I mean, JJ's, yeah, he's getting invade, maybe steal away a red camp, but look at the gold difference. It's already swinging heavily in favor of JDG.
It's insane right now. Like, JJ, you know, it's not like he's played bad. It's just
Oh,
Kanavi
Missing.
playing out of his mind,
Missing.
but Missing has been found. He's only level 4 as well. Gets a, oh, wait, actually flashes over the wall. Can he get away with this one? Oh, my days, he does. That was the Dragon Rage use and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to need some missing pings on that one. The fact that he managed to get out of there is absolutely insane, because I thought he was just doomed, right? Scout had the lock up. I thought that was it. Now, JJ...
He's looking for revenge.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to get much. He gets a Q1. We take those.
Yeah, you show him, Missy. That's what us supports need to do. Put the jugglers in their place. But I gotta say, like, this has been really well done by JDG. Apart from Missy, like, nearly getting caught out there, actually, like, moving in to support the jungle, making sure he's getting the vision control down. And, like, you can already see the wards that are littered in that bottom side, right? They knew that the only real answer from JJ was to try and make some sort of invade on the bottom side. So they do lose the red, but they don't lose anywhere near as much as they possibly could have.
Not as, we can take another look at how Missing got out of this one. So he's trying to get vision. Didn't know that they were on the red buff, right? Just kick back. I thought he was doomed here. 3 levels down on Scout because he's a support, but bit of a whiff on the W for Scout.
I think what they were trying to show us there is that because Scout had used the Ice Claw in the mid lane, he didn't have the cooldown to get over the wall to follow Missing. And that's why even though we tried to hit him with the Ring of Frost, Missing was just a little bit too far out of range.
Nicely done there by Missing to manage to survive a arguably unsurvivable situation. And Kanavi is going to take the advantage that he has and convert it into a Drake. Now picking the mid lane though, Yagao is gone. He gets no chance to play League of Legends in that one. I mean, Scout gets himself a tower plate as well.
And finally, we're getting the EDG answer with another kill, because this was looking a little bit worrisome. We talked about at the start of the day, you know, JDG, the way they like to play is, look, get these early leads, use that to snowball through objectives, use that to look for picks, and you need to try and slow down the tempo that JDG are picking up here. And the best way to do it is to pick off Yaga in the mid lane. Now you can start to get a little bit of a more control over the mid, maybe look towards this Rift Herald as well, because that is still sitting on the top side of the map. You do have a strong bot lane, you do have a Scout who's pretty strong in the mid lane, but you still need to wait for that ultimate on the Lissandra to come back up.
This lane does not look fun for Mako. I'm just watching him get harassed down like crazy. Missing, getting engaged upon. That's the Fate's Call used already. Hostile takeover as well, but Hope is just walking away. Actually just ease over the wall. Cannon Barrage to disengage as well. EDG using a lot there, but not able to find much now. Hope re-engaging, Missing. Push sideways, but doesn't find the stun. It's 369 now, looking for Flandre. Cannon Barrage on cooldown, but when you've got Kanavi in the wings, you might be able to find it anyway. Ult already used. There's going to be the stun coming on in. Can they find the barrels? Can they find the Q from 369? They don't even need it, because Kanavi is doing it all himself.
Oh, Flandre saw Kanavi walk the whole way up, but tried to get the push and the wave and ends up paying for a bit of its life. Too much damage on this Viego, and also 369 managing to get that barrel at the start just slows him down. JJ, knowing that Kanavi is as low as he is, will start up this Rift Herald and should get that back for EDG, but I mean, this is running away, or JDG at least are running away with this game right now.
Not JDG, Kanavi is running away with this game, and I don't understand. He's managing to camp top and bot at the same time. How is that possible, man?
Look, Kanavi, we've talked about him being King Kanavi, King of the Jungle for a while, and it's good to see him kind of coming back into fruition, especially as you kind of get to see these like carries coming back into the play, right? Like when we looked at 2020, when JDG was at the peak and when Kanavi was the big carry for this team, is because it was carry picks in the jungle, right? Like we looked at like the Silases and these kind of things that he looked to bring to the forefront. Now we're starting to see things like the Viego, the Wukong, these things that can actually provide that carry damage, and we get to see Kanavi popping off once more.
And we also get to see Orcs' favorite thing, a Herald in the mid lane. Also Scout, the one to pick up the Herald there. So he gets all of those plates himself. That's 3 plates that Scout now has. But also, for the following Herald in 5 minutes, they can just slam that mid, finish the mid tier 1. Very nice situation for EDG if they can make it happen. Navi, though, finally wants to make a trip to the mid lane. They found the 1 pick earlier on, but looks like it won't be repeated for now.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make sure that he can get vision control here on this bottom side, because 2 minutes until the next dragon, like if you can continue to stack this for JDG, you end up in a pretty nice spot, especially if you look at like where Hope's going to be as he starts to pick up more of his items. Yagao as well has the Everfrost completed. This is where you can kind of see JDG, if they can find the 4v4 with 369, kind of keeping Flandre busy on the top side, they actually could potentially find some moments to force fights with that Gangplank ult leaning the advantage in their favor.
Yeah, and so far, 369 has been very liberal with that Gangplank ult as well. We've seen it used like twice so far this game, maybe 3 times. Very willing to just drop that on a fight as and when needed. Not like my Gangplanks and solo queue, I will say. 369 gonna go for the Gromp. He knows Flandre's here. Oh, Flandre! Very nicely done. Just ults over the wall, steals the Gromp away. 369. Gonna be livid. He's gonna be furious. And now he's gonna get all in. But Kanavi's here. This Flandre has to back away. He realizes something's going on.
Yeah, and I think it's a good shout from Kanavi and 369 to back away, just because actually in the 2v2, I still don't think they're strong enough on that top side to win out. Just with the amount of burst damage that comes through from JJ and Flandre, you need to wait a little bit longer before these Gangplank barrels are really hurting enough to try and take that 2v2.
Yeah, we're going to see the True Shot Barrage on the side, but doesn't achieve all too much as Yagao desperately trying to maintain some control of this mid lane. He has not had priority ever this game, and it's not surprising against Lissandra as an all-in on the bottom side. Hope knocked up, forced to flash here. The hostile takeover going to go wide. There's the cannon barrage we talked about, but in the meantime, in the jungle, JJ finds a shutdown onto Kanavi, and Yagao is next on the chopping block. There's the Sonic Wave. Dragon Rage not available here, but the slow is there onto Yagao. Can he find another Sonic Wave? The answer is obviously yes. JJ making it happen on Lee Sin.
Great job from the mid jungle of EDG, getting the invade on the bottom side, right as Viper and Mako are going aggressive. So just as Kanavi's trying to show up again on this bottom lane to try and shut down any sort of play from Viper and Mako, you actually have the support from JJ and Scout to turn that one back in EDG's favor.
And Hope and Missing know that Mako's recalled, even with JJ here.
Oh,
they know
boy.
JJ is here. They saw him in the Dragon Pit. They still stay. They still keep pushing aggressively. That is confidence right there from the JDG bot lane.
I mean, I think EDG would like to try and go for the Dragon, but they're just not in a position to try and go for it. But you can see here, right? Kanavi, I think this was a little bit silly, right? You don't know where JJ is, but you should have an idea with the amount of vision that JDG have set up on that bottom side. And it just means that you end up with Kanavi getting caught out. Yagao tries to answer the call for help, but he only ends up getting caught in it as well. Still, though, JDG will pick up this Dragon on the bot lane. That's their second Dragon now. And it's kind of the only big advantage that they have at the moment is this gold lead is swung back to dead even.
Yeah, it feels like, well, they do have that advantage in the AD carries at very least. As Hope's still going to be a little bit ahead in gold. I assume... where did our gold crack go? I missed that. That was so good. Why do we not have that? Yeah, I would assume he's ahead in gold at this point. This is against 0-0-1. Is an attempt up on the top side as well. Flash for flash there. But I don't think the kill actually ended up going down.
Yeah, I think we're going to be looking to see how JDG can try and set up properly now for these next few minutes. We talked about before how JDG traditionally like to kind of link up Kanavi and Missing and look for picks. But I think they have to be so careful here because JJ has a ton of survivability and just the amount of wiggle room he has because he's a Lee Sin and his mobility is going to make it hard to lock him down. Scout can also buy a huge amount of time, so I don't really feel like we're going to see the same kind of stall come out from JDG. It definitely feels like having Kanavi again continue to try to play for his lanes, try and make these kind of extended laning phases continue so you can then look towards, okay, well, we can get bot pressure, look for Dragon, or maybe look for the next one.
Mako tries to make it happen with Flash there. A charm now onto JJ as Kanavi moves it as well. Great dodge from Yagao, and JJ forced to flash. It was JJ trying to make the play, and he might answer with his life, but Scout comes in from the bottom side of the fight. Yagao, no Spirit Rush charges remaining. Orb Deception will connect. Charm goes slightly wide, though, with Missing here. That'll all be disengaged. Mako moving over, trying to get vision control. Drake not up for another 3 minutes as Hope actually ease in. He'll be knocked up by the Fate's Call, and all of the CC lay it down. Ezreal doesn't get to move. And EDG find their pick. Flash out from Scout means it's a 1-for-0, but Kanavi answers, predicts the flash. Beautifully done, but there's no follow-up from the rest of EDG. Now 369 in, flash charm onto JJ, low on HP, but not quite going down just yet. He goes back in, tries to find Yagao, but only finds his death as Scout flees in terror.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up giving Kanavi Lee Sin as well, but cannot find the Sonic Wave. Now still looking for a bit more, but with EDG safely under their tower, they will just turn their attention to the bot side.
Oh, Viper. Oh, no, Viper.
Wait,
Can he
Missing!
turn around? Oh, Viper! Finds the kill onto
369.
Missing.
Oh my
It's
God.
a complete bunch from JDG. Kanavi chased down by Flandre. 369 with nowhere to go, and it's 2, just like the number of barrels on Flandre's shotgun.
How do people not remember? Towers hurt. Towers do so much more damage now, and you can see it there. Kanavi gets caught out by it. Missing then ends up tanking. He gets caught out, and that's a disaster for JDG. The green in their eyes ends up giving so much across to Edward Gaming.
Oh, it looked so good for so long, but overreaching, overstaying, overstepping. And that's exactly how it started as well.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Hope here goes very quickly to Nope as he realizes he's actually got himself caught out and already used the flash in that bot lane place. It didn't have any way to escape. And here, it actually goes super well, right? They get the 369 coming in. Flandre still on the top side, doesn't have his TP up, so they know they've got the health bar advantage in this fight. And as you get JJ picked up, it's like, oh, Kanavi thinks maybe I can get the Sonic Wave, maybe I can get the picks. Viper is alone underneath the Terror, but just remember, look how much damage ends up coming through from this Terror. So 2 shots already to Kanavi. Missing literally can only tank 2 shots before he goes down. And 369, the damage is just ramping up so spectacularly under this as Flandre gets his TP and gets into this bottom side at the perfect moment.
Good effort from 369 at the end there. The triple barrel backwards onto Viper. But we've already got another fight. Mako the target here as Yagao finishes that one off. And it's a charm as well onto Viper. So JDG, they mess up one play and immediately rectify it here. Yagao looking for Scout as well. The Spirit Rush in, but the charm tries to predict the dodge and it goes a little wide instead. The stun does land from Kanavi. I don't think there's any follow-up here. The Claw of Doom from Scout to pull himself to safety.
I think JDG got what they wanted, though. Rift Herald in their back pockets. I believe they got it there. So that's why we're having that whole fight. No, actually, it doesn't look like it. No. Oh, JJ got it, yeah. So, I mean, look, you still get the fight afterwards. You're still trying to even up some of the mistakes that happened in that bottom side. But I think now that you've got, like, top Terror gone, mid gone, bot Terror should be able to take in fairly easy by Flandre. You're going to start to be able to answer up some of these tier 2s for EDG, but we're just going to get a replay here as Kanavi enters into the brush. They try to get the pick on towards Mako as EDG had just taken the Rift Herald, but yeah, they're just caught out from no man's land with just more members of JDG in the vicinity.
Drake is on the map, and it would be so point for JDG, so you know both teams are going to fight for this one. 5v5 on the cards here, Dagda. What are we looking for?
More blood! I want all the blood! This has been such a fun game, and now EDG starting up the dragon. JDG, keep your eyes on Hope. Can he be the carry in this fight?
They're just going to take it, though. EDG getting this Drake scot-free here. JDG not willing to go for the 5v5 for now. Dagda, I feel like you kind of cursed that one. I was looking at win conditions. You said they were going to fight, and immediately they're out.
They're just jerks. I can't believe they do
this
to me. Yeah. But look, at least it's a nice win for EDG, right? You end up getting the dragon for yourself. You're stopping the stacking. And honestly, when you're looking towards the amount of burst damage on EDG's side, these Inferno stacks are going to mean so much for them. And if they could get that soul, it's going to mean a lot as well. So I think for JDG kind of realizing, hey, look, we don't really have vision control here. We don't know where EDG are. And remember the win condition we talked about for JDG, like hiding back, making sure that EDG can't close that gap. Well, that becomes very hard to do if you haven't already established yourself at that objective.
I feel like we're getting an unofficial fight night for ourselves here, though.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
We're just getting an absolute brawl of a game. And even though, like, the kills just under 1 a minute, which, hilariously in the LPL, not that crazy. But I feel like there's been a lot of action that's led to not many kills, but it's been big, big moments. And the next big moment, I think, is going to be when JJ looks to place this Herald down. But they already got that mid-tier 1 that they set up earlier with that first Herald. So they can use this Herald for pressure elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I'm just surprised to see the amount of presence EDG have over towards this Baron, though, because I was about to say, as you can see, Scout now moving back up to the top side. Like, he's going to start pushing it out. Oh, Mako!
Ooh. Fate's Call used to save Mako's life. Will just be used defensively, though. No re-engage on this one. It's JDG just basically A-rabbing at this point.
Yeah, but it works for JDG, right? Like, EDG are the ones that want to try and spread out to use their scouts.
Scout trying to get onto Kanavi. Just takes a huge amount of poke damage in return, though. Kanavi maybe with a re-engage here. Just going to get vision control once more. Full vision control for JDG on the Baron, but I don't think that's something they could start.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? EDG would like to try and push sides to pull JDG around the map. Then you place Rift Herald, and that's how you create the numbers advantage where you can actually use the Rift Herald correctly. But for JDG, they're actually perfectly happy to just be sat in mid here, because if they're 5v5 A-ramming versus JDG, you don't get the opportunity to use the Rift Herald, but you can see, right? JJ, it's about to time out. He'll just plonk it in top. Well, I was going to say plonk it in top lane because it's about to go, but yeah, it's actually worked out for JDG now where you don't get to use this Rift Herald as you'd like as JJ because JDG just matched you 5 versus 5.
This one thing I do want to just quickly mention while we've got a lull in the action here, and that's the Flandre currently almost 50 CS up in the top lane. After how that early game was going, after it felt like 369 had a huge lead, or at least a huge pressure lead in that top side. It's a big CS advantage for Flandre now, but look at 369 and Kanavi. They see the Herald go down bot, and they are playing the waiting game. The barrel in the brush, ready to go. Flandre moving in, unawares of the situation. He's going to get pounced on, but he dodges away. Ults backwards, and Kanavi's the one in trouble now. Flandre surviving. There goes half his health. 369's got some damage, hasn't he? As he charges forward, but Flandre survives. True shot barrage across the fight. As JJ finds one, and Kanavi on the wrong side of the map, and he's got 5 players chasing him down. And that's a beautiful cue from JJ. As Kanavi actually gets some healing, but it's not going to be enough. And EDG, what a counterplay.
And they get the terror push the bot side as well. The Rift Herald actually managed to hit, so EDG get the kills, they get the play, and now do they get the chance to defend their mid lane turret as well? And looks like that's a yes. EDG winning across the board.
I can't believe the presence of mind from Flandre. Like, he was so ready for a play to happen there. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that one where you get to see how quick Flandre is on dodging everything that suddenly comes out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was insane. Flandre is an absolute beast. And this is what we're talking about, right? Getting Flandre back to business. Getting the Flandre that is the world champion back on comfort. And you can see it here, right? Manages to dodge away the stun, the barrel, the damage from Flandre onto Kanavi as well is absolutely insane. But it does get responded very quickly by 369. But more members of EDG have to show up faster. Scout even TPing in as well. It gives everything to EDG. You can see like the call from JDG to move in towards the mid lane is just a little bit too late, right? They don't have the minion line there. It's only just been brought up by Yagao, and they're not able to respond with any sort of pressure on them.
And the crazy thing is, if the stun hits, he's dead. If the barrel hits, he's dead. If the Viego hits, he's dead. Like, if he fails to dodge any of those abilities, he goes down, but he manages to make the play. Now Drake coming up, 10 seconds. It's 2 for 1 on Drake so far as Scout. Uses his Zhonya's, keeps himself safe here. Bates call. Coming out from Viper. Won't find a re-engage.
Scout going to be forced to reset though, and Dragon is on the map. No TP available for the Lysandra, so nice job by JDG as Yago!
Oh, the flash charm. That's going to be Flandre going. Didn't dodge that one, did you, mate? That one was important as well. And now onto the Drake they go. But look at the pings from EDG. Could this be a Baron attempt? I feel like that would be dicey.
I think they're just trying to bait JDG into the area, because as we said before, right, like this is where you want to try and close the distance, but that's the thing. Viper doesn't spot the ward, so JDG know they're safe. They don't have to worry about the Baron. They don't have to face check anything. And oh, Viper
is still full HP. I can't believe nothing hit him. It looked like he was in trouble. I guess he wasn't. 369 in the meantime, just pushing out that bottom side, and now can start to collapse. They're looking for a blue buff. Yagao is here over the wall as well. Evercross comes out from Scout. There's a cannon barrage, and Scout gonna get charmed. Oh, he still gets the claw out, but the barrels are here. There's the damage, and Scout, he keeps himself safe for a second. Oh,
What?
pushed over the wall!
What?
This man is unkillable.
How the hell did he survive that? The fact that he managed to get that flash over the wall is absolutely insane. No hope. Oh, playing with fire there as Viper and Mako were eyeing him up, but when Arcane shift to the safety of his team, that means that nobody out of all that will actually end up falling.
No, but crew.
Never mind,
there's a
never
charm
mind.
from Yagao. Yagao did not have the greatest laning phase, but he has been on it with the charms now.
And that's something that we see a lot from Yagao when he's on this Ari pick, is like he'll just hide in bushes, try and look for picks, spot like wards in weird places, just so we can see if he'll maybe get one person out of position, and he ends up spotting out Mako there. So nice job from Yagao to get that pick.
Really nicely done there, and now still a gold advantage for EDG, but soul point for JDG crucially, and that gives them an in, that gives them a window. And look at the build from 369 right now. 3 items on that gangplank. He ain't getting any weaker this game. Feels like he's on the cusp of getting to the point where just one good place barrel is enough to win a team fight.
Yeah, he is very scary. And look, I think there's a lot of people on both squads that are quite scary, right? You've nearly got the 4th item completed here for Flandre. He will hurt if he gets onto any of these squishy members. Yagao as well, getting that Horizon focus means that he's going to be very good at that single target damage. And I think it kind of says a lot about what JDG are looking for, right? Like, they know that it's about a case of, like, one person on EDG will have to overextend to try and find these fights. So if we can burst that person down, separate out EDG using the cannon barrage, that's going to be our win condition. And I think the automation is just really smart from Yagao to kind of facilitate that.
One of the crucial things about this EDG composition that I'm really liking is the amount of like invulnerability that they've got for themselves. First off, things like the Lee Sin just very slippy in general, but Mako can face check because he's got that Fate's Call available. You've got Scout who has both the Zhonya's and his ultimate. It feels like there are limited options when it comes to trying to find picks for JDG.
Yeah, and I think that's the big problem is like, as you say, not only do you have to deal with all that, you've also just got the W from Renata as well to keep people alive. Bro.
Yeah.
Now, EDG trying to bait over towards this Baron. There's a lot of vision here for JDG, but has been started, and JDG are taking the bait.
EDG just going to go for this one. Just looking for a fight, you'd imagine, as 369 staying in the bottom side. Not going to TP just yet. JDG, it feels like calling the bluff of EDG, but if you don't go in, I'm not sure it is a bluff. There's a cannon barrage, 2k on the Baron. They're just going to, oh my god, Kanavi gets it. Can you believe this, man? It's going to be JDG looking for kills as well as Viper's over the wall. Yagao follows, turns gold with the Zhonya's 369 damage onto Flandre as the rest of EDG getting chased down and cut down. Yagao will follow over the wall. Another great charm as it's an ace for JDG and a Baron to boot.
How the hell did Kanavi get that steal? You have a Kalista, you have JJ with the smite as well. Like, that was absolutely insane. And now JDG have Baron, and there's a minute until Inferno Soul. This is so easy now for JDG to pick up this objective.
And Dagda, what a game this has been. Every single time you expect something to happen, it's outplayed on both sides of the board. It feels like everything is consistently just being flipped on its head. This time, it's Kanavi to come in and get the Miracle Steal, and it nets not only a Baron, but towers in the mid lane, a tower up in that top side as well, and an advantage now for JDG.
And I thought EDG played this really well. Scout buying space, but yeah, 255 HP. JJ smited, Kalista red. I don't know if Kalista got the rend, but it just looked like mistimed on their side. And EDG, because they've invested so much space into the pit and it's all gone sideways, and it's just getting caught out beautifully. Like, it actually looked like it could have been alright, but we're back to live, we're back to Dragon, and we're back to seeing how JDG can try and set this up. Because again, barrels for 369 are going to hurt, but can EDG close the gap properly with Scouts?
This time, no side lane pressure on either side. We're fighting. It's 5v5, everybody in the pit, because it's sole point for JDG. If they can get this smite, if Kanavi can find this Drake, it will be Infernal Soul. And with a Gangplank, with an Ezreal, that might just be curtains for EDG. 7k on the Dragon as it's pulled out of the pit, and EDG, they desperately want to fight for this one. 3k, are we actually just going to flip this one? The answer is yes, and JJ finds the smite for himself. Walks away with a little bit of HP, but that charm, again, Yagao with these charms, and Kanavi once more on the fight as well. EDG being corralled here, 4 men strong, but they're outnumbered, and another charm lands. Barrels come through from 369, but JJ trying to answer, it's one. It's a triple kill, comes for 369. Flandre goes down for the quadra kill. And 369 charging JJ down. He wants himself the Penta, and Missing's there to give him the movement speed. The blast cone ain't enough, and 369's rolling only 9s today.
The pentakill for 369, completely corralled into JDG. EDG will fall. Kanavi the only one that fell in turn. And now JDG can start to push in towards this base as well. Hope has got pushing mid. You got Yagao who's going to clear at the bot tier 2 as well. That was JDG now at least getting the kills, but the Dragon was secured by EDG.
Yeah, JJ just like winking over his shoulders like, got the Dragon though, didn't I? Yeah, I can't believe we flipped this one. I cannot believe that was a flip in the end. Kanavi smite leaving it on 60 HP, I'm pretty sure though.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, at least in theory, you should have the advantage for EDG when it comes towards these smites, right? You got the execute for Lee Sin, you've got the smite for, you got the rend damage as well that come through from the Kalista. I just don't know what happened with the Baron, but here, I mean, there's not much to talk about, right? EDG realized they've gone too deep, and JDG have so many tools to actually chase you down. Like, the same tools that are good at helping them disengage are the same tools that are going to help them to close the gap. You can see just there, pentakill for your man 369.
And, you know, I'm rewatching that clip, it's not that 369 plays badly or anything, but he's not an exceptional play.
He's just
walking forward, Q on one, collector, Q on another, collector, Q on another, collector. Just bopping everyone one by one. Beautifully done there. And then now, JDG, if they didn't have an advantage before, well, they're 9,000 gold up. That'll do it. That'll certainly find yourself a lead. And with a Kalista on your team, it feels so bad when you fall this far behind in gold. Kalista just feels useless.
Yeah, and I think that's the big problem that they're now going to face, especially when like vision control can now be easily established for JDG. It's so much harder to find these flanks and picks, and now as you look towards like Baron in a minute and a half, JDG already have good vision control on the top side. They got the wave shoved in. I mean, might even just try to look to open up this base with hope, but do have to be careful of some of the engages from EDG.
Yeah, Hope trying to get some damage onto the tower. It's low, not quite finished off, but now that they'll get some pressure down in the bottom side from 369 as well, should be able to finish this tower off in the mid lane. Kanavi playing bouncer in between the lanes here. 369 does have to be cautious, and Flandre will clear that wave out. So, does feel like a bit of a struggle here for JDG on the siege, but they can keep it going all day long.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to crack open the base. I just want to highlight, though, just what we have. Or maybe don't have time?
I don't think we have time. It's a charm onto Scout. He turns golden at the last second, but won't get him much on that one as Mako just walks into Hope's ult. He gets one shot. The rest of the team jump into the meat grinder. They get Hope, but at what cost, Dagda? At what cost? And they finally knock down 369, but he's got a GA. One more Q would finish Scout. He's got that collector, remember. And I think that one might just be curtains as Scout walks away with his life, but the mid inhib at minimum.
It cost them everything, Roach. Everything. And now JDG will be able to pick up game one. You can see the TP interrupted as Kanavi will add another kill to his play. Kanavi having a fantastic game, sets up the win for JDG.
You know, that stun there for Scout, it was a heartbreaker. That's going to be game as we see JDG started off strong, started as they mean to go on. But what a game one. Because that EDG certainly did not play badly, right? That was a close one through and through.